Hi, everyone. We are joined by Billy White, the trainer of Mike Tyson, who is getting ready to step back into the ring at the age of 58 against Jake Paul, July 20 at the AT&T Center in Texas on Netflix. Billy, it's the year 2024, and Mike Tyson is still very much relevant and very much interested to fight. And the billions around the world are very much interested in following every one of his moves. But before we get into all of the details, I want you to officially introduce yourself and your relationship to Mike, because you kind of give it away on your sweater there with Cus D'Amato. Just wanted to have you break down your relation to Mike and the team.
Yes, sir, Manny. I'm Billy White. I always say we're friends first, Mike and I. We grew up together at the Cus D'Amato gym in Catskill, New York. And here we are all the years later, Manny. So it's pretty cool.
You were also in Mike's corner when he fought Roy Jones Jr. in 2020 in that highly anticipated exhibition match. And you're in training camp right now with Mike as he prepares for his summer showdown against Jake Paul, working with the likes of Rafael Cordero, who is also one of Mike's coaches. What is your role with Mike as he prepares for this fight?
Well, I'm his head trainer, but the fact of the matter is we have a great team here, and we're team oriented. It's Team Tyson, baby. And yes, Rafael is the baddest trainer on the planet. While Mike is the baddest man on the planet, Rafael is the baddest trainer on the planet. And he absorbs all the punishment for us, and we're there for him. And together they're in symbiosis. They're at one together, and they send it out to the gods of the universe. That's just what Mike is all about.
We see the viral clips with Rafael holding the pads and getting almost his arms knocked out. How about yourself? What is your role in the day-to-day operations?
Well, as you know, I know the Cus style, and like I said, we grew up together, and Mike knows I know the style, so I'm here to remind him. He knows exactly what to do. He's been doing it for years. He can do it in his sleep. But I'm just explaining, Cus gave us a basic philosophy. Boxing is 80% mental, 20% physical, and that's what we're all about. Continuing forth the Cus legacy into the next generation, and it's very, it's quite frankly amazing, So. But my role, again, to answer your question, is the fact that, again, I'm a reminder. I'm a messenger of Cus in the regard where I have to remind him of our form, and that form leads to speed and power, as you see in all the videos. The other day, I will say this, from day 1 to day 4, you can see the speed created by the form, and it leads to the power. And that's just what Mike's all about. It reminded me the other day of how he took me back, and I said, man, you look like you're 18 again, and it's just beautiful to see it. It's actually priceless. Cus would definitely be proud from the heavens above.
Absolutely. His legacy still lives on nearly 40 years after he passed. I know we all know by now Cus was so instrumental in Mike's life. How did you and Cus form a union together?
Well, my brother was in a street fight during summer school, and the principal asked him, "Why did you keep hitting that kid so hard?" And my brother said, "I never had a better feeling in all my life." And because of it, the principal said, "You have to go to the local boxing gym." And so the principal contacted my dad, mom and dad, and hey, he took us to, I told Mr. Jerry West at training camp last time, the Honorable Jerry West, NBA logo, how I was shooting hoop while my dad pulled out of the driveway I'm shooting hoop thinking I'm Jerry West and Pistol Pete Maravich, and my dad said, get in. And back then, you listened to your parents, and jumped in. And 5 minutes later, we were, walking into the Cus D'Amato boxing gym. It was called the Catskill Boxing Club then, but I don't know, back in 2008, we had a nice grand reopening is what we called it, and renamed it the Cus D'Amato KO Boxing Gym, and it still stands today, and it should stand for till the end of time, quite frankly. It's a Mecca, if you will. You take Kronk Boxing Gym and several others in the world, there's only a few, but Cus is right there at the pinnacle, at the top of success. It's like a cathedral when you walk in there, so hopefully you'll have that honor and pleasure one day, Manny.
Absolutely.
You can see exactly what I mean.
The last time we connected, it was almost 4 years ago when Mike was coming out of retirement for the exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. Has he been training over the last 4 years, or what kind of activity and training has he been involved with?
He stays in shape. His weight for the Roy Jones fight was 222. And I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, he was, about a month ago, he was 226. So he's already in shape. We just have to get into boxing shape, But yeah, it's just amazing where he's at, how he takes care of himself. Cus always said age is nothing but a number. And there's nobody better to prove that come July 20th.
Mm-hmm. And on that night against Roy Jones Jr., Jake Paul was on the undercard, fighting Nate Robinson. He had that highlight reel KO, and now here we are 4 years later. How did you guys identify Jake Paul as the perfect opponent for this fight?
Well, look, that's just how it materialized. Jake went on a journey all his own. That night in the Staples Center's locker room, just as Jake I think it was the very first round, he almost finished Nate, and it went a few more rounds. But my point was that, we're watching it, and Mike's like, whoa, slow down. Give me enough chance to get ready, Jake. We were just warming up. So, and it just worked out great. Look, Jake has taken his game to the next level. And boxers around the world are upset at that in some regards. Hey, it's all about marketing and exactly what Jake is doing. And let me say this, Jake is no joke. He's a very formidable opponent. He's got youth on his side. And obviously Mike has experience. So it's an interesting master versus student, come what may.
And a lot of people are wondering, what are the terms of this match? Is it professional? Is it exhibition? How many rounds? How many minutes? Headgear, so on and so forth. What kind of details can you offer as far as the terms of the agreement?
Well, the fact is, look, when two guys get in the ring, anything can happen. You're putting your life on the line. So I don't care what they're saying. It's say what you want. Look, two guys in the ring, it's a fight to the finish. Anything can happen. So that's exactly where we're at. All the details have yet to be worked out. But look, again, two guys get into the ring, anything can happen, Manny. That's just the way of the world. From day one with the original cavemen in the very first fight of mankind. Mike is a warrior, the ultimate warrior. Nobody in the history of the sport has ever worked harder than him. Okay, and Cus always said, just keep doing what you're doing, and he's been doing it for years. He can do it in his sleep. The fact is, Cus always said, the end result will be a foregone conclusion.
Mm-hmm. And, we're still a few months away from the July 20 date. How are you going at the age of 58, as Tyson is, how are you going to gear him up to be fight ready? What's kind of the stages of preparation that you're looking forward to take him through?
Look, he takes himself through the workouts. Nobody knows him better than himself. You know, today I fight my greatest enemy, Chief Joseph said, myself, you know, and he puts himself through tremendous amount of hard work. Again, nobody in the history of the sport, if you ask me, has ever worked harder than Mike. He's not just a student of the game, he proves it with his workouts. So, you know, hopefully you'll be able to see that before the fight. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm just trying to explain to you that come what may, July 20th, Netflix is promoting an amazing event, and it's around the world for boxing fans to enjoy.
Mm-hmm. You've been a part of so many of his fights, his fight camps throughout the years. What makes this one different for you?
Well, the fact I'm right there with him. Back in the day when we were kids, if you will, I mean, you know, I ended up, yeah, we were teammates, but then he's winning the heavyweight championship. Well, I was the sports editor of the local newspapers, and that was super cool to be able to cover his career in that regard. And it's just graduated to this, if you will. I mean, I'm just, look, it's a beautiful journey, life, and here we are all the years later.
Mm-hmm. Keeping the spirit of Cus D'Amato alive. What are those reminders that you share with Mike on a daily basis?
I'm going to give you a little story about how, I don't know, about a year ago, maybe, we were heading to dinner in Miami. We're driving down, you know, I'm driving, he's in the passenger seat. We're just listening to music, and he taps me on the shoulder and he says, "Isn't it amazing how we met that man?" And obviously, you know, I knew who we met, and I just said, "Yeah." And you know, I'm driving, and you know, there's tears coming out of our eyes because, but it gets better. We get to the restaurant, Manny, and you're not going to believe it, but 200 tables in this restaurant, and they sit us next to 3 hockey players, and one of them, Nico Blachman, he is working his way up into the ranks. The other 2 were NHL guys. Nico and I have become friends from it. During dinner, sitting right next to us, taps me on the shoulder, says, "Hey, I don't want to bother you guys, but do you mind if I show you something?" I said, "Yeah, what's up?" He shows me on his calf the tattoo of the saying that Cus handed to us all the years later. Nico, obviously being a giant Mike fan, Tyson fan. That said, don't you know, it says, "Day by day in every way, I am getting better and better," tattooed on his calf. And, oh man, sorry about that. And that's our mantra that Cus gave us. It was a famous quote by French psychologist Emile Coué back in the late 1900s. When Cus was a little boy growing up in the Bronx, it was a very popular saying. All the years later, Cus handed it to us. So, I mean, he made us say it 50 to 100 times a day, first thing in the morning, last time at night, while you're doing your meditation. Cus was way ahead of his time. Today, everybody does meditation, affirmations, and I'm just explaining to you, day by day, in every way, we were getting better and better. Mike and I say it on the way in the gym, or we say it on the way out, or we say it both times. You know, great workout today. Yes, you'll say yes, and it's going to be better tomorrow. It's just amazing, the passion that Cus brought forth for us, and the confidence. There was a saying, there's a poem, "Don't quit." A lot of people claim it now, all the years later. Back then, we knew it as being anonymous. We don't know who wrote it, but people claim it. We laugh at it. We just know this, "Don't quit" is an amazing poem of, I can give you a few stanzas. When the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not quit. It's just, it goes on. That's only one stanza, but I'm just trying to explain to you. He embedded these statements in our minds, And again, day by day in every way, we got better and better. And
And it
here
sounds like
Mike
you're
is.
giving Mike those affirmations till this day. There's a lot of public opinion as well about this fight. The fact that Mike is still fighting at the age of 58. A lot of people are saying he shouldn't, and the fact that he's returning, that they would rather see Mike stay retired. I wanted to get your opinion and how Mike also feels about the situation of kind of answering those questions coming into this fight.
Well, that's just people. There's zillions of haters out there. That's look, they wish they could do it at his age, what he's doing. They wish they could do it, and they're not doing it. And I didn't finish the story with that tattoo on Nico's leg. Mike said, yeah, I said, hey man, look at this. And sure enough, on the way home, he's like, yeah, man, how about that, sitting us next to that guy of all guys. Mike said, that's Cus up above saying, hey, I'm watching you boys, so you take that and you run with it. And that's what we've done throughout the years. But look, man, he's in great shape. Nobody in the history of the sport, again, has ever trained as hard as him. So they need to get off the couch and go do what they do. You do what you do, I do what I do. We don't care what people say. We just go do what we do. All thanks to us.
What do you think Mike's going to do come fight night? How do you see this fight unfolding?
I think Mike's going to get in there, and we're calling it Mike Tyson Unleashed. Look, he had a lot of first round knockouts, and there's no reason this can't be. Again, Jake is no joke. We always have all due respect to our opponent. But today I fight my greatest enemy, myself. And that's what Mike's all about. He's all about laser beam focus. And it's a great opportunity to display his great skills and his great will in a fight that will showcase to the world.
So it sounds like you're predicting an old school Mike Tyson first round finish. Is that what I'm hearing?
I just want to see Mike do the very best he can and emulate and have the world see what I saw the other day in training camp, that he looked like he was 18 again, doing some moves. He's like 18 again. And Cus would always say, hey, in spots, in spurts, you look great. You're doing it perfect. But come July 20th on Netflix, everybody's going to see for themselves.
Jake Paul, he's no joke. He's obviously made a nice professional career for himself, fighting ex-MMA champions, professional boxers, YouTubers, you name it. He's kind of going through the entire gamut, and he's looked good considering his novice state. He's already about 4 years in as a professional fighter. What do you make of Jake Paul's skills, and what kind of threats do you think he potentially presents to Mike, who's 30 years older than him?
Well, again, it takes a real man to climb through those ropes. Not everybody can do it. They can talk a good game, but when the time comes, as Cus always said, you take your mental fortitude. 80% mental is boxing. And a lot of guys, from the walk from the locker room to the ring, it's a very difficult walk. But he schooled us and he taught us, and he made that the greatest walk we ever made. And I'm trying to explain to you that Jake Paul has to make that same walk. And we just hope he ends up making that walk all the way to the ring. And when he does, if in fact he does, from now till then, you have to understand something. He goes to bed thinking of Mike Tyson, and he wakes up thinking of Mike Tyson. And that's a daunting task he's got on his hands. Yes, he's fought other guys. Granted, all kudos to him. Again, getting in the ring is no easy task. A lot of people say it, but a lot of people can't do it. And he's doing it, so you have to commend him for that. But at the same time, it's a daunting task to wake up knowing that you have to make that walk. Cus used to say that it's like walking to the gallows.
Mhm. And, Mike's demeanor, he's a lot more mild-mannered these days, as he's gotten up in age. Definitely not the Mike Tyson of yesteryear, where he was a lot more unpredictable. How is his mental approach for this fight? Is he kind of tapping into the old Tyson mentally, or is he a revived and renewed version of Mike Tyson preparing for this fight?
I think it's a combination of both of those. In fact, he is very optimistic. He's always positive. He's matured into a wonderful father, a wonderful husband. And, hey, we're going back a long way from when we were kids. And to see that now is something you never thought would happen. And here it is. And it's so priceless to see. Our team Tyson is amazing. We have a great, just a great team. There's Mike Angel and Andre and Jason, our camp coordinator. Everything's great and everything's working out smooth as ice. And we're here at the Raiders Training Center. You couldn't ask for more. But Mike has just transcended through the years, as everyone has seen, and he's just in a beautiful spot. He's so mature, and he's at a stage where he can do this. And I challenge other 58-year-olds. He's 57 now. June 30th, he'll be 58 come fight time. Bottom line is that he is, look, where's AARP? They should be promoting him as well, because the fact of the matter is he's the perfect role model for this.
Mm-hmm. What is the long-term plan? When we saw Mike fight in 2020, we thought this was a one-off, and it was great to see him back under the bright lights. And here we are a few years later. Seems like the flame has been reignited. And can we see more of these kinds of fights for Mike moving forward?
One never knows what's going to happen. They have a lot of things going on in Saudi Arabia and a major tournament coming up later on in the year. Very intriguing and interesting. We just learned about the other day, and no one perfectly suited for it better than Mike to enter that and win it. Look, come what may, we're concentrating on Jake Paul first and foremost, and that's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. What is the tournament you're alluding to?
I don't know the details specifically, other than what somebody showed us. Mike and I learned about it at the same time the other night. Concerning, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 50 years and older. There's no one in better shape than Mike in the 50s. If you ask me, hell, he's in better shape than guys in the 40s and 30s. And again, he's an inspiration to people around the world. Those people who hit the gym, people who don't hit the gym, get up off the couch and be inspired by none other than Mike Tyson. He's in phenomenal shape. We just have to get into boxing shape.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me.
Is Mike even getting reinvigorated to challenge one of the current heavyweights in the world, the likes of Usyk and Tyson and Joshua and Wilder? Like, will it ever reach that level, or is it going to be more of these one-off showcases with the right caliber of opponent?
Well, again, we're concentrating on Jake Paul. What happens in the future is, again, Cus just always said, here we are, and he puts it out there. You can do anything you put your mind to. That was a saying that was up in the Cus gym the very first day I walked in. The word can't does not exist. If anyone can do anything, and when they put their mind to it, it's Mike Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
So he can definitely do whatever he wants in the future. The world is his and all that's in it, as another saying Cus gave us. Rudyard Kipling's poem titled "If." 2 letters, if. read it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Mike is a man, and that's exactly what I'm trying to explain to you. The world is his and all that's in it. You can't beat it. Cus would be so proud. Cus and Camille. Thanks to them, we're here today.
What? How about Mike's power? What would you rate it at this age and stage of his life?
Well, if he had to go in front of one of those machines at the carnival, or wherever, wherever you see him in local bars, restaurants, trust me, he knocks it out of the park, off the charts. But it's not all about power. It's about form and speed. Nobody has better Cus D'Amato technique than Mike. And you take his speed. You see it on the internet with the recent trainings. His speed is impeccable. It's amazing how fast he is. Again, reminded me like he was 18, 20 years old. Again, and that's only 4 days into training. So trust me.
We're obviously a few days in. When do you kind of start ramping up sparring and actually getting fight ready? I recall last fight, he even sent some sparring partners home from what was being shared at the time. So when does the actual fight mode start for Mike?
Fight mode already started. The second he signed the contract, baby, like he said on the t-shirt. Look, we have it in our minds that we are warriors, okay? We're warriors in the garden. We're not gardeners at war. We're warriors in the garden. And I'm trying to explain to you that Mike is one of the ultimate warriors. So you take that, and day by day in every way, he thinks like a warrior. And he's always outdoing the opposition. And trust me, that will happen July 20th on Netflix.
Do you have perhaps any details on what kind of an event it will be? I know it's at the Cowboys Stadium. Surely it's going to be a massive attendance there. What kind of fights could we expect to see on the undercard? Is any of that information available yet?
It's not available yet, but all the details are being worked out, and it's going to be a phenomenal show. It's going to break records. It's not just about Dallas Cowboys or wherever it is. Michael fight Jake in a phone booth. The fact of the matter is, wherever it is, and it's right at the 50-yard line at Dallas Cowboys Stadium come July 20th. Yeah, that's going to be a sight for the world to see. It's going to be beautiful, priceless.